that that was a deal breaker for you. And yet here you are, no deal has been broken. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lily. This is Lily's Shelf, and today we're talking about Love is Blind, episode 5 and 6 of season 8. Guys, when I tell you this is a snooze fest, but we are here. I know it's kind of late, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I had to keep taking breaks. Well, honestly, I had to keep taking breaks because nothing was happening in these episodes. We started off with Molly's number one is Dave. Her and Lauren are out here duking it out over a man who looked like a thumb. But I digress. Dave knows Molly isn't talking to anyone. Now I see why he was fence sitting. Okay, because I think at this point Lauren's not talking to anyone either, but I don't think that he knows that. But he knows for sure at least one of his connections, he's the only option. So yeah, it makes sense why he's dragging his feet and not trying to choose really anybody. Lauren is still talking to Dave. I don't know why, but here we are. He immediately says, you know, him and Molly are so similar, and Lauren is playing confusion because she's like, how are you and Molly so similar when you and I are so similar? How could you have more things in common with somebody else when you already have the things that you like and the things that I like? Because Lauren had asked him something, and his first response was, oh, well, me and Molly are so similar. If I'm talking to a guy, even in Love is Blind, if I'm talking to a guy and he's telling me about his other connection first, before he even starts talking about me and him, I'm leaving. Every time Lauren has the opportunity to stand on business and choose herself, love herself, pick herself, she says no, and she runs back to David and says, pick me, choose me, love me. Why? Whatever, man. Dave is lying through his teeth, trying to save his connection. But again, Lauren isn't going anywhere, so he doesn't really have to do all these backbends and whirlwinds just to justify what he said to Molly and spin it to his advantage when he's now talking to Lauren. Because I'm pretty sure that he did tell Molly at one point that she was his number one, or whatever. Well, honestly, I can't remember anymore. It's been so long. So, but as he continues to talk, Lauren was up here. She slowly comes back down, slowly starts to smile, slowly starts to blush a little bit. And I'm like, girl, some sweet nothings is all it takes for you to lose the attitude that you rightfully had because Dave was playing in both your and Molly's face? Okay. Like at that point, I couldn't give Lauren any more grace because now at this point, she's choosing to be with a deadbeat. So hey, whatever. Lauren gets back to the lounge. Molly is telling folks that Dave planned to break things off with Lauren. Lauren hears this from Madison, and now Lauren is annoyed. But why are you annoyed, Lauren? You're not going anywhere. Whatever. Devin and Brittany, they have a date. They're talking. Brittany says she would have appreciated a different response from Devin, but they have a very amicable breakup. Now, I haven't watched the interview that Brittany did, but I do want to know what Devin did for Brittany to go from feeling like, you know, they could low-key still be friends out of the pods to doing that interview and basically calling that man like immature and some other stuff. I would like to know. So I plan to watch that interview at some point, but if you are interested, the interview is out there somewhere. I don't remember where. But at the time of recording this, you know, I haven't watched the interview yet, so I'm not going to speak on it, but I did just want to put that out there. If y'all were like, Alicia, they're not even cool anymore, and I'm like, I know, but that's all I can say because I haven't watched the interview. So Virginia and Devin then have a date. It's cute, you know, he writes her a letter, very, very cute. She gives him her grandma's ring. He gets her a necklace and flowers. Devin says that the guys feel that Virginia is very smart, They should. My girl has a PhD. Put some respect on her name. Like, Ben and Sarah go on a date, and quite honestly, I don't even like them anymore. Sarah was okay to me, but ever since Ben told me that he doesn't vote, I haven't really been rocking with Ben, because I'm like, it's giving white male privilege, willfully ignorant of the things around him. But Sarah, I expected her, the way she was coming that first date, where she was talking about Black Lives Matter and all these other social justice issues, the fact that her sister is a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, like, I was expecting her to stand on business about all of those things, at least one of those things, something. She did not. Because if she did, her and Ben would not have gone on another date. And yet here we are in the pods watching Ben and Sarah talk about other things, not social justice. So I guess it wasn't as important to you, Sarah, as you made it seem, huh? It's giving performative. Ben says the everyday stuff is sexy. Sarah says she really loves a lot about Ben. But again, you were acting like, Sarah, you were acting like the fact that he was not very aware of these very big social issues, that was a deal breaker for you. And yet here you are, no deal has been broken. Like, she didn't even ask him why he didn't vote. Sarah says it's not like we have different viewpoints. Sarah, if you like it, I love it. Sarah does ask about the social stuff, the social issues. Ben is like, he doesn't want her to think that she's gonna have to teach him. He says he'll grow into that. Okay. I want to see Ben in a more active role. Because a lot of people will say that they'll change and they'll grow, and then they don't do any actual work. If nothing else, her sister being part of the LGBTQIA plus community, that should be like non-negotiable. Like, you are not going to mistreat my sister in any way, shape, or form. I want her to at least stand on that, because right now Ben is giving very wishy-washy. Ben proposes, Sarah says yes. Sound engineers, once again, do their job, give us a very cute, very fitting song. The fact that, because we're back in the men's lounge, the fact that even Devin thought that Dave's number one was Molly, very telling, because Dave was like, oh no, it's Lauren. Dave is like, what if I run from my feelings? That'll cause an issue with my sister. Lauren starts spiraling because of Molly saying that Dave was going to break up with her. And on the heels of that, on the heels of Molly being messy, Molly and Dave go on a date, okay? And Dave starts it out by saying he was crying for like an hour, And so like the violins, they start playing, and we get, oh no, not the violins, the piano in the back starts playing, and Dave just goes on this whole long tangent of his feelings and all this other stuff, and how he was just so torn between Molly and Lauren, and he couldn't decide. He was going back and forth and forth and back, and he just didn't know. And so he started crying because his heart knew, but his head did not. And this is just such a strange experience. And what can he do? What can he do? And while the piano is going, while Dave is pouring out what little is in his heart, Molly is like, so are you choosing me or not? Like, you're wasting my time. Because exactly, Dave was saying a bunch of nothing in his sob story. Really, the piano was carrying the emotion. It wasn't Dave. It was the piano carrying the emotion. Finally, he tells Molly, without telling Molly, he wants to break up with her, because Molly has to say, okay, so you like Lauren, correct? And Dave is like, yeah. And Molly's like, okay, so you want to move forward with Lauren. You want to end things with me. Yeah. Molly, why are you not upset? I've given you nothing. We bonded over superficial things. But why are you not upset? Why are you not falling to your knees and begging me to choose you like Lauren did? And Molly is like, my person will choose me without me having to tell him to choose me. Period. And so Molly leaves, right? Molly goes back to the women's quarters. Now, she was holding it together, but she really was upset. So she's cool, calm, and collected in the pods. She leaves the pods. They go back to the women's, or she goes back to the women's lounge. Dave goes back to, he either sits in the pods or he goes back to the men's lounge before his date with Lauren. Molly and Lauren start talking, and Molly is like, you know, Dave plans to move forward with you. We broke things off. And Lauren was like, oh, good. Y'all, Lauren can barely contain the smile from spreading across her face as she's talking to Molly. And Molly is basically low-key tearing up a little bit because, yes, Dave was a thumb. He looked like that thumb from Spy Kids. If I find a picture, I'm going to insert it. But did Dave look like that? Yes. But did Molly know? Not yet. Okay? And they may have bonded over superficial things, but they were similar, and that was her man for a time. So Molly's upset. Lauren is fighting tooth and nail to keep that smile off her face. And Lauren is like, I just needed to know, between you and me, who was more Delulu? Stop it. Because Dave and Lauren go on another date, and I'm quite honestly over them, but hey, here we are. The piano cues back up. So now we know it's an emotional scene because, once again, Dave does not carry the emotion. It's the piano. The piano was doing more of the emotional heavy lifting than Dave. So Dave gives another sob story about how up and down his mind has been, okay? He just didn't know. He didn't know. And Lauren is like, are you validating both of us? And she asks if Dave made promises to Molly. And Dave is like, no, it's not true.
None of it's true. It's BS.
But I do remember the way Dave was talking to Molly in one of their previous dates. It did sound like he was going to plan to move forward with Molly, and therefore would break up with Lauren. But Dave likes to spin things to his advantage, so he spins Molly's words around and cuts and chops them up so that they fit his narrative and not what actually happened. Lauren kind of peeps that because she was in the women's lounge with Molly. She saw how hurt and upset Molly was. But she's defending Molly a little bit. I feel like Lauren should have defended Molly a little bit more, but that's just me. And so once Lauren starts defending Molly, that's when Dave has his little switch up again, his little remix. And he's like, oh yeah, sure, of course. You know, I don't want to say anything bad. Continues to backtrack, whatever. And then he brings up his sister and how he's so worried for her reaction because he never intended to even get this far, okay? His sister did not even want him in the pods. So the fact that he is now close to an engagement, unheard of in his sister's eyes. Notice how Dave never says, while my sister may be nervous, I'm sure about us. And I will do what I can to make sure that my family knows how sure about us I am. And that I'm going to stick beside you. He does not say any version of that. I noticed it. If Lauren noticed it, she ignored it because she got sucked in by the snorkel dates and all the other stuff that Dave promised to do. Daniel and Taylor go on a date. They exchange presents. Quite honestly, Daniel and Taylor, my top couple. They've been consistently about each other from jump. I mean, it's just so cute. It's just so fluffy. I love them. Only thing is, please let go of this Christmas stuff, okay? Please. Especially since the stocking was generic. I mean, I didn't see that stocking in Walmart. I didn't see it in Target. Like, half the U.S. population probably got that stocking. They continue talking about Christmas. Again, who's going to do the dishes after a long day of work? Are y'all going to go out and get couples massages? How are you planning on budgeting your finances? How are you planning on combining your finances? This is season 8. Why am I not getting the heavy hitting questions? Why are we not getting the heavy hitters? Where are those? Where are they? Because they're never in the room with us. Never. How often do you wash your sheets? Do you know the Muffin Man?
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
Well, she's married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
They do talk about their biggest insecurities, which I did like. I did think it was a bit strange that Daniel asked for Taylor's Instagram handle, whatever. Sarah and Ben have their reveal. Keep in mind, all these episodes are like an hour plus long, y'all. This reveal is coming at like the end of the episode. Diabolical. Just diabolical. Now, keep in mind, I did say I don't really like Ben and Sarah, but I did think it was kind of cute and kind of funny how Ben like took off running to meet Sarah. The chemistry is obvious, but again, I need Sarah to stand on business. So Dave and Lauren are back, and Lauren is justifying why she stayed this long. Dave basically thanks her for not listening to her intuition and to her common sense, and for staying this long in the process and letting him continue to play in her face. And so as a reward for being a pick-me, she does in fact get chosen. Dave does go on one knee. He does propose. She says yes to nobody's surprise. Lauren does hesitate before she says yes. And that hesitation, my headcanon is that hesitation was like Arya from The Ultimatum, where her intuition and her whole body is trying to tell her no. This is not a good idea, but she doesn't listen to that tiny voice, and she says yes. We get to the men's lounge. Alex once again wants to play in everybody's face by hyping Mason up to go talk to Madison, knowing good and well that Madison is now Alex's girlfriend. Like, Alex was just, the more I saw him, the more he just rubbed me the wrong way, especially now that we have allegations out against Alex. The stuff that they are alleging he did is disgusting. They are still allegations, but if you watch Storytime with Ricky, she did provide some screenshots of some women coming forward with like text threads and pictures and stuff confirming the allegations. However, they are still allegations. This is all alleged. Okay? This is still very all alleged, but it's looking like it's true. It just has not been completely confirmed just yet. So Mason and Madison, they have a date. They have this cute little like breakfast spread. Mason got Madison a cream pie. Ha ha ha. It was cringe. It was weird. Quite honestly, to me, a little strange. But whatever. Mason has not even picked up like his fork and his knife. He's not even started to cut his pancake yet. Okay? He like this. When Madison's like, I don't think this is our story. And Mason's like, oh. The heck? Now Mason tries to say that when he confirmed that he was all in with Madison, it did not feel right. And Madison is like, well, I don't like the fact that you said that. My take is that because this is the pods, right? And when you do end up in a love triangle or love square or whatever, sometimes you do end up saying, I'm all in with somebody, and then they don't give you the response that you were hoping for, and so then you pull back. And I feel like that's what Mason did. I feel like if Madison had given him some kind of affirmation that like she is all in on him too, Mason would have stuck by what he said. But because Madison did not give him any affirmation when he said, I'm all in with you, I feel like that caused Mason to pull back and say, okay, I should focus all my attention on Meg because she has been giving me confirmation and affirmations and things like that. So I do think that is human to say something and then say, no, when I said it, it did not feel right, and so I want to walk it back. Madison, I feel like at that point, her ego was just bruised because she didn't even like Mason. Madison said he could have been more decisive, but he was. He just chose wrong. Honestly, I don't understand why Mason was giving Madison the affirmation that he should have been giving Meg, but whatever. Nobody but Mason knows why that was. Madison says she feels he tried to keep two good things going and might have lost both of them. Now, I don't think it was Madison's place to say something like that, because we don't know, at this point, we don't know how Meg is going to react to Mason. And so I feel like saying that, Mason now is probably thinking, well, they've been talking in the women's lounge. I probably don't have a chance with Meg anymore either. Like, I just feel like she kind of messed up Mason and Meg's connection that way, even though Mason did a lot of that work himself. Mason and Meg go on a date. Meg says she's bummed. Mason goes on to explain himself and his position, but at this point, it's too little too late. We end the episode with Mason saying that Meg was always his number one. So episode 6, we pick right back up with Meg and Mason. Maggie's telling him how their connection so far has come off to her, and ultimately she decides to end things with him. Taylor and Daniel have a date. Taylor talks about how she has this overwhelming sense of calmness whenever they talk to each other. We find out that they both wrote letters to each other, and then Daniel proposes to Taylor and she says yes. Honestly, the letter that Daniel wrote, so sweet. Lauren and Dave have their reveal. Now, Lauren is not an ugly woman. Lauren is attractive, okay? Lauren is attractive. But from the way we were introduced to Dave in episode 1, I already knew that if Lauren was not his ideal look, his ideal body type, his ideal full package, he was not going to be feeling her. And it could have been Molly, it could have been whoever. If they were not his ideal standard of beauty, he was not going to be feeling her. So when the door is open and he sees Lauren for the first time, you can tell she is not his ideal standard of beauty. And so therefore, he is underwhelmed when he sees her. Like, there's chemistry on Lauren's part. There's no chemistry from Dave. None. It's just it's not awkward, but it's like very simple. Like, even honestly, I was getting more from Joey and Monica than I got from Dave and Lauren. And Joey and Monica were kind of giving friends to potentially more. So like, the fact that they're not even starting there, red flag. But hey, Lauren has been overlooking them this whole time anyway, so what's one more? The fact that the music cut out so we could hear the awkward silence between Lauren and Dave. The producers are so messy. Devin and Virginia have a date. Did production tell everybody this season we want everybody to write a letter to their potential fiance before you propose? Write and read out a letter, or just write a letter, because I don't think Devin read out his, but he does propose to Virginia. She says yes. Too cute. Whatever. Well, except for Dave. Dave didn't write no letter to Lauren. He just proposed and she said yes. Alex and Madison have a date. Madison gives Alex a rock that has sentimental value because of her brother that passed away. So I'm not going to do too much on the rock. Alex low-key breaks up with her in this one, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I can't remember. But I know at some point Alex breaks up with Madison, and so both of them end up leaving the experiment. Devin and Virginia have their reveal. I think Devin really liked what he saw, and I think Virginia is going to take a minute to warm up to what she saw, because the sparks were there. Like, the foundational sparks were there. I think it'll just take a little bit longer on Virginia's part to really feel that, like, burning chemistry. The reveal was taking too long, so I fast forwarded. I did. Because they just started talking about, like, champagne and stuff. Like, that's not what I'm here for. Skip. So I did. And then Taylor and Ben have their reveal. The chemistry is there. Ben was worried about his height, but even with heels on, he and Taylor are still pretty level. And I think he was slightly taller than her. So that was he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Taylor was worried about her physical appearance. And Daniel was, quite honestly, eating that up. So she does not have to worry about that anymore. And their reveal was also dragging a little bit, so I skipped through that too. And then Then on the heels of Taylor and Daniel's reveal, we get a little like confession cam of Taylor saying that like that's not the first time she saw Daniel. Turns out Daniel followed her on Instagram and then unfollowed her. And then she was able to describe a picture on his Instagram feed. So they end up meeting at the hotel lobby. The producers bring Taylor her phone. This whole time, Daniel is very like patient and understanding, which I love, because if Daniel had been on some rah-rah energy, the situation could have gone left very quickly, but it stayed right because Daniel was very patient and very understanding of where Taylor was coming from, because Taylor felt like he had the cheat code to winning her heart because she's got like family and faith, Taco Bell, and the fact that she's a nurse on her Instagram bio. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck. That stuff is very generic. So you could argue that anybody then had a cheat code, even if they just saw your profile once. Daniel, like I said, is very understanding. Taylor starts scrolling, but then she kind of gives up. And she's like, you know what? I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. But I did just have to check for my own sanity, because we did have that Uche and Lydia situation where Lydia low-key did not beat the allegations that she came on the show for Uche. So I can see why her guard was up a little bit. But they were able to resolve that, and then the episode ends, and that's it. And so that's all I have for this review today. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I know that these episodes are late, but like I said, it is what it is. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.
This nugget of encouragement, things will be alright.